Okay, call the meeting to order of the Newbury Historical Commission at 7:09 on February 10th. Do Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So our treasurer is not here. Oh, we get minutes. December 9th minutes. Everybody pull those out and review them.
So you get Rebecca checking on the Keening house, you got that twice?
Do I?
Technically, but yeah.
Well, either I do or I don't.
It's just consistent. She wants to make sure I did.
Where am I?
checked.
She's
Schoolhouse
hounding you,
windows,
isn't she?
and then the last line again.
Oh, well, there we
Schoolhouse
go.
windows.
Double or nothing.
So we're making sure, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I talked with her, but we might need to have Lon follow up with that one.
With the windows?
Yeah.
And do you have the email from
Yeah,
Nancy about the windows?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've got emails like you cannot
Alright, we'll do it.
believe.
When we get to the emails.
Here are the
Yeah.
emails.
Stop getting us out of order.
Sorry.
He started it. So I'll remove the bottom paragraph there. 'cause
Yeah,
we
that
don't
would be the
need it to
only
be
double. Good point.
redundant.
Any other errors or omissions to the minutes of December 9th? We hear a motion to accept them as corrected.
Motion to accept the minutes as
Right.
corrected.
Second on Rebecca. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Do you want a better pen?
I anticipated life is not going to
Good.
Did Lon send the treasurer's report?
I'm sure it's probably the same, right? Have we had anything?
Yeah, it shouldn't be much for changes.
I would assume, yeah. I don't think we haven't had the schoolhouse open to get any money or anything like
haven't
that.
spent anything.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
haven't spent anything, so it should be consistent from last time.
This is about the time of the year they ask us for our budget.
Yeah,
Have you got an email at all?
No.
it would come from, he might get it, I don't know. Yeah, I thought he put a sentence in there. Nothing has changed in the treasurer's report,
Yeah.
is what he told me.
Okay.
Okay. In case you do get the email for the budget for next year, don't send it back.
No, he does it, and then you can do the other thing too. Again, I'm not getting involved.
Right, so it won't be the same as last year,
What won't be the same as last year?
budget.
Oh, yeah, no.
So, well, sometimes we send it back same, so I just don't.
Yeah, last year things changed too,
Okay.
because of the, changed the, I think, because of the porta potty and something else. So, and then you
Price
can,
this one up.
if I get, you should get it, but
Okay. Yeah, I guess I usually get it as an email. Website report. Are
Yep.
you-
Working on it, I'm basically rebuilding it. So I will go through and kind of tweak the stuff that's on, just while the other one's still up, but I'm slowly starting fresh. And
So
it's just slow.
is there any IT stuff to go on the budget? Does this need to be introduced at all?
I don't think so, to be honest, at this point. I might need to upgrade at some point to make it be better, and then there'll probably be like a small fee with that, but I don't think it's gonna be like, you know.
You're staying with the Yahoo server?
It's basically, I'm doing a different like web builder, and then I'm just gonna use the website and just like transfer it over. That's why it's just, I'm like going from one page to the next. It's pretty silly, but it looks good, slowly. And if we were at the library, I could probably show you. Anyways, you need to get me a picture, I think, still, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you ever gave me one.
Uh,
Ryan do that. Do you have any old photos that?
I thought
just
you
gotta
said
look
you
at it.
had one.
Yeah, I
You
just-
were gonna use.
Well, yeah, I've already put them up once on my Facebook page.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is there anything for me to steal over there, or?
It was just that General Burnside's guy, so I'll have to,
See if you have it, because
See if I can do that
I kind of
tonight.
creeped your page looking for it, and I couldn't see it, so that's why I don't know. Right? Sideburns.
We could do Ben Butler, also had the site. And it has more local connection.
Where?
Yeah. Butler's toothpick,
Oh.
right?
I didn't.
He was harbor master back in the 1800s.
I only know
Late
it as
1800s.
the toothpick.
The toothpick, yeah. Getcha.
all right, correspondence.
Okay, hold on while I catch up because you keep asking me questions.
Yes.
Okay, we had a lot of correspondence, needless to say. We have a postcard from the Mass Historical Commission about the next round of preservation project funds. So we're not ready for this stuff because we aren't getting any of the stuff done, so that's all it's about. This one doesn't have any funky, pretty pictures or anything, just an old colonial courthouse on the cover.
Right.
And that's that one.
Okay.
Tick. So, some of the stuff you guys have because it's from Mass Historical Commission.
Okay.
All right, so we got an email from Jack Rubicki. I didn't, because you guys don't usually want to get all this paper, so I only gave you the stuff that's from Mass Historical Commission that we really need to look at. And it's talking about, he sent it to the library trustees, the Historical Commission, and the town administrator, talking about seeing if we can get a gift of monies from some of the programs that are going around. It says he notes that the Newbury Area Industrial Development Foundation recently gifted the library with the $75K cash offering for them, and he evidently had looked at the minutes of, we had the minute meeting with the library trustees, so he was looking at different things of where people could get some money to help with getting a preservation person and stuff. That's the gist
He
of
seems to be on top of all that stuff.
the gist of it.
Yeah.
Do we need to answer it, or,
No, I think it was informational.
okay.
I would volunteer for any administrative structure created to serve this purpose in my time. The purpose of the program is definitely infinitely worthy and long overdue for a founding time of town of America such as ours to undertake. You know, it's just, Jack. So take that with me. And then the next thing, well, the biggest thing is the town clerk, because we have to get our stuff done, annual training.
Okay,
And this is in this is a state law, so there's no.
Right, you gotta do it.
Yeah. So if you, and there's one that you have to take online, the ethics, and I forwarded you all, you should have
Yeah.
all gotten this? Okay. So what I did is I made another copy of the thing so you'd know, and everybody needs to
Is that in our file?
fill out this, no,
No, okay.
because I figured it's all just gonna get lost in the
Thank you.
shuffle and, yeah, it won't be good. So, is that. So you need to fill out the forms that are
I'm so sure.
attached.
Yeah.
And then I can get them back to the thing, but to Leslie's office, but you still have to do the online thing, and at the very end of it, it produces like a certificate that
You have to print out, I remember doing that the
you
first
have to
time.
print out and, or take a screenshot of it or something, and then send it, you can just send it even to the town clerk's office.
Oh, all right.
So I asked her if we were, if everybody needed to, because usually it's staggered, like every other year, somebody comes up, she said, but I think because of COVID, everything kind of got bumped around, so she said, well, yeah, everybody needs to do it, so I said, okay.
All right.
So if you write your name, you also need to print your name, and on one of them, I forget which one, it doesn't have a second line, so just do it. You only have one sheet?
Yeah. Oh,
Just one form, and then
me too.
the email.
Why do I go? Shouldn't I do this all?
So this says you have to, what is the summary on the third page?
There should be two forms, so does everybody have two different forms or not?
Just one
One
form.
form.
I have-
got
One form,
two.
and then the email.
I have two.
I got two.
Wasn't on the other side.
So acknowledgement of conflict of interest law says I've received a copy of the summary. Where is it?
You don't know the conflict of interest law yet? You've
I'm
been,
sure it's in the file cabinet.
well, there you go, so you've gotten it.
I'm sure you.
It isn't changed that I know
Yeah.
of. So does
Another
everybody,
copy.
so what do you have? Acknowledgement of receipt, and then there's another one that says
Yeah.
open meeting law.
I have open meeting law.
You have open meeting law,
I do
you
not
don't
have
have
open-
acknowledgement of
I do
receipt.
not have open meeting.
There you go.
I have them both.
What do you got?
Both.
Okay, now everybody's got both, right?
Do you want these back?
Yeah, I'll take them back if you fill in it.
And the open meeting law should be online.
I'm keeping
It
this
is,
one.
and I think, I thought I gave you a copy of it too.
The open meeting law?
It's thick, in that binder way back.
Oh, okay, all right.
I may not have,
To do.
but if
So
you.
these two things we just fill out right now and give back to you?
Yes, please. Maybe I didn't, but I thought I did, but I might not have missed it. But it's on the town website. If you follow the email,
Yep,
which this email, it has the link, and it will take you right to the pages, right to the state pages, whatever, so you can follow right through. If you didn't already do them before, so you don't know what the laws are. But the one that says online, which is the municipal ethics, which is the conflict of interest one, you have to get the sheet off the website when you complete the program. The other ones, you should already know what the conflict of interest law is, and the other one is the
You know
open meeting
what?
law.
Talking about that conflict of interest law, that's been recently revised.
Well, then it will be recently revised on the state website. Because now it says conflict of interest and ethics on it, I think, instead of just, which it was, one was the same as the other. It's like, no conflict of interest because your ethics are in question and, they need to take the quizzes, but the open meeting law, I don't believe has changed, and if people feel you've gotten the information because you've gotten this, so you can go in and look it up. But they're all thick.
Right.
So I figured they'll have a fit.
No, I think,
If I printed 6 copies of 27 pages for each,
please don't, you've given us to us already.
so, yeah,
I have it in another binder from last year.
yeah, so,
Save the trees.
They've made the open meeting laws much more lax now.
Really?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
So people can, talk to each other if they see each other.
Have work, yeah,
You know?
have, meet about stuff and have workshops, which I've talked about all along.
That's why things could get done more. Oh, love it. Hallelujah. All right, where are we next?
I know, get it.
Is this something cool? No, I'm intrigued by this folder.
Not really.
Bummer.
I got everybody's right?
I think so.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for keeping us
Legal.
legal, yeah, up to date.
Well, because somehow I know when I send you these things that nobody pays any attention.
I look at them quickly, but I don't always
Yeah.
print them. And
So
that's
this
what
one
happens.
is like, it's kept in a log,
Yeah, I know.
and the sheets are all kept for years, so it's a serious thing. This is one of the serious things, not just fluffy nonsense.
Fun, yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
so,
have to chase Lon with that, too.
yeah, I got his packet. Chase Lawn is a whole nother story.
Yeah, he was my pictures too.
Town clerk, there she is. Click. Mass Historical Commission, you've got copies of that. There's workshops that you can sign up for, and the way they did them now, remember the thing I printed out that was, I said it was so wet it curled? You can sign up for the packet only. They will
Okay.
send you it's not a slideshow, what's the word I want?
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint or
Thank you.
something? Yeah.
And you don't have to be there, well, virtually be there, or you can be there and they explain it and then people ask questions and stuff, so.
Okay.
But the whole list is there, and you can just click and it will take you in, you sign up for the, it's a different Everbright, I think it is. Is that the one we did when we went to that meeting in
Ipswich?
Ipswich?
I think so.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
So, and then they just send a reminder that you're up, you're gonna be on it. There's only so many places, and if you said you wanted to go and like 10 people were already ahead of you and somebody doesn't confirm, they'll tell you that there's another space open, But or you could just get the materials. So I figured if we kind of coordinated, we could get all of
the
them.
stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And people could look at it, but some people are better at watching it than reading it. But we need to, they're giving us this information, I think we should, try to take
Utilize it.
advantage of
Yeah,
it.
utilize.
So they're virtual workshops, and the one I watched was very interesting. The people, they know what they're talking about, and they've been there and doing it, and it's interesting, so off we go. So, we had someone sent an email to us about salt marshes, which, he said, I'm a writer and an author looking into history of the Newbury salt marshes. I would love to connect with someone who might know about the area and perhaps some of the characters, families who lived and worked the marshes over the years. This came in January, because we have like 3 months worth of. So I forwarded it to Eva, and Eva wrote a lovely reply, of which I believe you all have a copy of in your packet,
Okay.
because it's,
Oh, goodness you.
Did you see?
I
Did you see that he's emailed back since?
yeah,
And he wants to know if I know of any characters. I'm thinking,
What does he want, like?
we are the characters.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's what they have. So I felt like writing him back and giving him a character, because he is a writer, but.
yeah. But
No, I
if you
don't
go
know.
any more, that's on you.
Yeah, I don't,
yeah.
no, I'm done.
So she did an awesome job. So if you guys don't know about salt marshes, you can read up, because she did a great job with it, and I appreciate you jumping in. It was awesome. So that takes care of Mr. Green. IT sent us an email about making sure that everybody understands about that we have to have the camera, but it's more important to get the meetings posted on the town website, the paper posted on it, and that the videos should not be used as a primary source of the meeting minutes. It should be the written word.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
we take this seriously. If you look through some of the things,
Other
people
people
haven't
don't?
posted them in ages.
Oh, really?
But they have the videos, but they haven't posted the
Oh,
minutes.
so they're, yeah.
Because
they're
someone
not-
has to type them up,
Gotcha.
so.
So they're just defaulting,
letting
saying,
you
oh, the
know.
video's there, that's.
Well, that was
record.
actually from their office saying, when they got questioned, that's what they said. So, no, they need to be minutes and they
We don't
will be
approve the video,
recorded.
we write
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah, right?
I mean, I use it if I can't, like I quickly wrote something down, went, what the heck does that mean?
And then you go back and listen to it and be like, oh,
Whose
yeah.
shorthand is this? And then I listen and go, oh, yeah. That's what that I.G stands
Great.
for. So it's handy sometimes if you were scribbling or you got distracted and you were like part of the conversation and I'm not writing, but
You still need to have,
It's-
it's that, yeah.
it's
That's the
easier to
official.
just go through. I mean, you have to listen to 2 hours of a meeting when you really only want like a paragraph of information in some cases. So
Makes
they've
sense.
updated, the next one is from Michael Stein, who's taken, he's on he's the Deputy State Historic Preservation Officer. And the MAPRA site has changed.
Oh, great.
And actually, it's got like maps now.
Oh, okay.
But if you've gone in it before, this is the website is on here, if you've gone in it before, it's, you might have to clear your catch to go in
Okay.
it again.
Okay.
So I went in because I had it saved and I had to resave the new
Good,
one
yeah.
because the old one won't open. Error, you have an error.
I've had that, okay.
So it's just, because we should be looking at things to see that all the work we're supposed to be doing. Did I say that?
I think
No,
you
I
did.
did not. No.
Might have been picked up by the mic, we'll see.
So, that's the boards and committees, we did that. Honest to God. We had an email from Nancy Thurlow, who's our associate member, from January 28th. And she said that she and her husband had the liberty to speak to a window restorer named John Siemens, who lives on the corner of High and Newman Road.
Okay.
And from outside, he's looked at the windows at the schoolhouse, he said they're not too bad, but they do need restoration before any more damage sets in, and he's supposed to write up a proposal, and Nancy and Fred's suggestion was putting an article on the town warrant asking for funds, because Fred said he thinks it might be 5 to 6K.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't
maybe
doubt.
asking for like 10 to make sure we have enough money in there. And then she says, if we have any left over, then maybe we can redo the doors, restore the doors, which wouldn't be a bad thing.
No, it wouldn't be a bad thing, but those could easily be like 5. Like if you really wanted to like restore them.
Well, they're gonna, there's no point in having them up there if they're not gonna keep the place at least,
Like, I know.
somewhat
Secure with wind,
weatherproof and
yeah.
secured, so I don't know what you wanna do about that.
I guess it all depends on the pricing.
Doors?
Yeah.
No, about
the
getting a
windows.
warrant on the town.
So I told her to get an estimate from the guy, get
Yeah.
him hooked up with us, and whether it goes on town warrant or it just becomes part of the facilities budget. That's not, we just need to submit it to be done.
Okay.
So we need an estimate from the guy. I
That's
told
up.
to Nancy.
Awesome, okay, great.
That's
So,
encouraging then.
see, and I have not written any of this down, so this is. Oh, well. That's why we
Minutes
have the
come straight off
video.
Yeah, exactly, that's a video, Chuck.
Ah.
All right, well, that's at least,
So that's
It's
good, because
encouraging,
that's,
yeah.
at least we're getting somewhere with something, maybe.
doors and windows being secured.
Yeah, that would be helpful. And then Lon's supposed to be finding out about the security, but,
Yeah, well, he got the steps done. So, one thing out of the way.
Isn't he the
Yeah.
security?
yeah.
Just out there. Binoculars.
With the dog.
Well, he's a schoolmaster, so he's supposed to be in charge. We got an email in January 28th from a gentleman named Lon Rogers, who I had sent him the packet that Evelyn had done for the World War II memorial, and he said thank you. He sent other information to Evelyn, copies of letters and additional history and pictures of his father, his uncle, and his great uncle, who were all in WW2 from, the Bayou Field. So he just wanted to know if we get more, if they update that page, which I don't know that that the World War II Memorial Group is gonna update the information again, but he just wanted to make sure we got it. We send it to him, we got it. So I said, thank you for sending the information, and if I see that they update it, I'll send it to you. Workshops. And then, this is important, not that the other stuff isn't, but we got a letter from Madeline Glass, who is on the Historic New England, and they need a letter of support. We did this last year, I think, or the year
Shingle
before.
on the roof, yeah.
So they're replacing, she's the site manager, and they need a new roof and a chimney repairs. So they can get a grant for preservation funds. So she asked for our support in sending a letter. So she says, I have a sample if you'd like. So I don't know whether you want to use a sample or make something new.
Sample of her letter.
She has a sample letter, see, because a couple of people have done this with us. They have like a cookie
template
cutter
almost.
kind of thing, and she even put our names on it for us, so that we could just send it out.
So which house is this for?
Coffin.
Isn't that the one we already did the letter for?
They did something else that we did, yeah.
No,
So,
it was the roof and shingle repair
I don't,
last year.
well,
Is it a different spot then on the same?
No, it
well,
was
there's
a
like
big
three,
grant to
there's
redo
like
the whole.
three
Oh.
houses there all attached to each other, so. I mean, this just came. This is 2022. I had to
So
double
maybe,
check,
maybe
because I
they just
remember
did
the last
one
one, I think I
house,
looked it
now
up.
they're doing another part of it.
But I asked if they were
Another building.
replacing with historic materials, so she said, thank you for getting back to me. We are replacing with in-kind historic materials. The gutters were repaired, see, it was the gutters last year, were repaired last year. So this project focuses on the roof and chimney repairs. I've attached a sample letter, feel free to, to change it, and they need it by the 1st of May, so we have a whole month to look at it. Do you want to look at it and then let me know, or
No, we'll just get it done.
it's pretty much standard cookie
Yeah.
cutter? I mean, not like that, but I think it's probably, they just replaced probably the words.
I am writing in support
Gutter.
of the Historic New England's application for a matching grant from from Massachusetts Preservation Projects Fund. The project will support wood shingle roof and chimney repairs, Coffin House in Newbury. Tells about the Coffin House. And that's about it. So, can somebody make this in the form of a motion?
Move that we accept the letter requesting funds for the restoration of the Coffin House.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's a little distracting.
You get used to it after a while. All right, that's done.
So who made it? You did? Who seconded?
I did.
Thank you.
I made it eventually.
If you don't, because I'm going to be able to hear that on here.
I know, seriously.
Okay, awesome, thank you. So that's another piece of the happy little puzzle out. Leslie, they must be cleaning again. They found this evacuation map from, it's not old, it's 1983. So she didn't know if we were interested in it. So I said, well, throw it in the box and I'll look, 'cause
I mean, it's 83, but you
so
know.
it's not old, it's not like historic in any way, but I thought if we ever needed to look at a map, it's a good size, and
Wow.
It's got a
so.
bunch of stuff.
It's pretty
It's
detailed.
funny, because she
on it.
said it's got dots on it, but
Yeah,
they're not
what
in
do
the,
they
they're
mean?
not in the legend.
It's gotta mean something.
So throw it out and keep the map, we
School.
might as well keep a map, right? I'm like map
It's the
freaky.
speakers for the nuclear plant,
Is that what they are, you think?
because one's in the golf course where it is.
Oh, and that's where it's to like, be like, evacuate,
Oh,
evacuate.
actually, you can see,
Is this
like,
the
is that what
golf
the
course?
bullseye thing is there? See the bullseye?
Bullseye
here?
says EOC location. Is that what those are? EOCs? Here, EOC location.
What was that?
There's blue and yellow. What's the difference? There's an old one here.
Yeah, Parker River. Here's Old Town,
Oh, look at it.
You can see it.
Plumber's
Yeah,
Lane.
that road that doesn't exist, right?
So I figured we might as well just keep it, right?
Yeah, just put it at the schoolhouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's neat.
Yeah, because sometimes, you go to look for something like you're trying to, like, I want to get the district done, or,
I do think it's interesting to see the miles, so it's miles from the plant, right? Is that what that is?
yeah. Hey, every time I walk drive on the island, no evacuation possible.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Imagine.
Yay me.
I had to explain that to my sister's kids one day. What does that mean, Auntie Jim? Oh, nothing, honey.
I guess I've always wondered, it's 10 miles. And
10 miles.
We're all gonna just get obliterated.
Well, I won't.
It's
I won't
just-
even have time to think about it, so
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. That's,
We'll see it from a distance and go, oh, shit, that'll be it.
Yep, there goes Jim.
Exactly, like, oh, man.
it's just like,
Shut the road down anymore.
it's not, as far as I'm gonna see, it's like, it's not worth worrying about. It's not like
No.
we can evacuate. I won't even
That's the way I see
evacuate.
it. Take me out.
I mean, Byfield, yeah, maybe. Old Town, parts of it, maybe. The island, no. We're
Yeah,
done.
no, you're
Depending
toast.
which way the winds blow, we're good.
It's
What is this stuff for? No. Something I'm supposed to remember to do. Oh, no, it's more spam. Who is spam calling me from Georgia? That's what I'd like to know. Must be Trump supporters.
Okay.
So we'll hang on to this. So I told them, yeah, why not, we'll take it, just give it to me, I don't care. It's a map, I like
I
maps.
like maps.
So that was that. Evacuation map tick. Okay, am I done with this, please? It's exhausting. And somewhere, I think sitting on my dining room table, is, I made everybody a copy of the article from the paper about the stone. I don't know
I got that.
if everybody saw it. Did you guys get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was just losing it.
Nope.
And then I had this picture in my computer from when I went on my little search of all the stones one day.
It's a good picture.
But if you've never been there or seen it,
Well, they have the post next to it now when you
So,
drive by.
I
So you
think
can
it's
very, you can really see where it is when you're driving
Have
by.
they marked out the area that's gonna belong to us? Oh, we got it.
There was a map or a
there's,
little
well,
drawing, yeah.
I asked Martha, I said we're having a meeting, and just out of curiosity, did we get a preliminary? So this is preliminary, we aren't
Right.
voting on this or agreeing to this thing at all. It's just to show. So it's right here.
Yep.
It's right there.
Mhm.
And I thought I wrote it down somewhere, she told me how big it was, and I went, really?
It's, yeah, like,
It's bigger than they talked about.
oh, really?
Yes.
I mean, I'm just more
Because they
concerned that
said we
someone's
need-
gonna maintain cutting the grass and it's not gonna
Just so
look
it's
like
gonna
crap.
be like 20 by 20.
It's
Yeah,
not, it's bigger.
really?
It is,
No, they
the
changed.
description I read, it was the stone in the wall and then in back of it.
Yeah.
So.
What
He was gonna like
description-
build a wall
Yeah,
around
but
it
here-
or something.
This is the draft
Maybe
plan.
he's gonna put posts to
it's
protect it or
changed.
something.
Well, those are there now.
Balls.
You can see them now.
So this is, she said, that's why she wrote draft. I said, well, I don't care, we don't wanna
20,
We're not
12,
voting on anything, because
30,
they haven't voted
20.
to
Yeah, I mean,
approve
that's a
the
good
changes.
size.
We
That's
voted
something.
last meeting.
We voted to support it, that we would
Yeah.
accept it, but we
Yeah.
aren't voting on the plan.
yeah.
Right, it's not our department.
Yeah,
All right, it's,
How big do they have it on there?
it's like, one side, that's 20, that's 12, that's like 30 feet. and that's 20 feet there. I mean, it's a good little chunk of spot.
Yeah, but
Which
it's
will
not
be-
20 by 20.
No, which
No.
will be filled with weeds. That's my only concern. I
Right.
hope that somebody
Right.
maintains.
We're
Is
gonna
it
have-
gonna be me out there with a weed whacker?
We'll take turns.
The highway department or something, right?
I
Should be
know,
doing that.
we've been asking the.
No,
highway
but they don't
department
take
to
care of
do
them
stones and they don't.
all around, so
Okay.
that's like,
Okay.
Right.
Well, they
Brings up
mow,
all-
but you can't always see them because,
They're gonna be
like, the
people.
one at the green up here, this green is sinking. Needs to get.
Reset,
And then there was a
yeah.
whole thing in the paper about somewhere, in the paper, on Facebook, or somewhere about them trying to get a committee together to get money, funds to raise it.
Oh, really?
Oh, I don't see that.
Oh,
you just see those,
Those
that helps
things
people
don't
with
give me a
preservation,
headache.
you see those people that fix all the gravestones?
Yeah,
Where should they be?
This whole,
Mhm.
but I live right in that.
so
as far as I
so it's
can
got
hear,
the stone at part of the
Right.
wall. Oh, this is the bed, and I don't know where I stole this from. This is evidently not. I stole it from someone because it's got writing on the bottom. So it's back in here, you know, so that we can, because they
Walk
said they
around
need
it?
to have, if they need to do anything, they need to be able to get equipment in
Past it. Yeah.
past it. So I guess they must have
Okay.
agreed to it a little bit bigger. And so I said to Martha, well, the couple of times that I've either spoken to him or emailed with him or spoken in person, he actually he appears to care.
Oh, no, for sure, I mean,
You know, he's not, it doesn't
Yeah.
sound like he's trying to appease. He actually seems to want to keep the history and make sure the thing is taken care of. So, as opposed to certain other people who shall remain nameless, that are also contractors and developers in the area.
yeah.
So, I think we are now at 99.9% of the email.
Fantastic.
Okay,
And then we got the email that, from the lady at 2 Cottage Road, which I have to bring, because she,
Okay, what is that?
okay. Well, in the last minute before our meeting, we got an email from the Barton Estate barn owner, but it's incomplete, it doesn't have all the information.
I'm not
Asking-
sure what other information you want, seriously.
uh,
I need to, you know,
I want to know who the owner is.
the person who sent the emails.
They didn't, there's nothing on my email of the owner.
Her name is Christina Horn.
Mhm.
I hope this finds you well.
What's the address
I
of the property?
I was hoping you could tell me if I need to schedule a historical review prior to building a new house and renovating barn on my recently purchased 2 Cottage Road property. We are also having trouble finding out when the barn was built, and did you know where we could find this information? So I'm confused on what the hell else you want.
Did they subdivide
Seriously.
the barn from the bottom?
Yeah,
From the
that's
main
the barn
house?
that he could not tear down because there was gonna be a
Well,
problem.
it couldn't have been a lot big enough for a lot.
No, it's part, he had to shift and change. So I said,
You know how much of that's gonna be left when they start to try to renovate
Well,
the
this is,
house out of it?
this is why we want a proposal,
Mm-hmm.
a plan, all the information on the site, what they're gonna do, everything.
Yeah, we can't just
I
like
just-
vaguely say
You
yes.
can't send me 2 sentences, not addressing what you're asking. It says renovation, well, that's a pretty broad
Yeah.
thing. Bring
Well,
forward
she-
an architect's
she was
plan.
asking to me if she needs to schedule a review. And she's telling me who she is, she's telling me where she lives, and she tells me what property she's talking about. And then she just asked if we know how she could find out how old the barn is.
I'm already trying to find out, I've got a date on that house. I can't find that, I haven't seen anything on the
So
barn.
then I asked her,
Really?
so I replied and said, somewhere, that's too many copies. Where the heck is it? I lost her. I replied and said, we need to know more. What are you asking? We need pictures And I also told her that they were looking to start a local historic district in that area, the neighbors, and they're very sensitive to changing anything. And she told me that I thought I printed this, I don't know. Sometimes when you print, the whole list doesn't print of emails. There's a caveat on the thing, the barn. It has to stay the color it is.
What?
The roof has to stay black and the barn doors have to be green. So, because I said to her, what are you planning? And she sent all these pictures, like almost immediately, she sent me all these pictures of the barn. So, Lon, I asked Lon because Lon was right, like, all over the button thing, because he's 2 houses away from it.
So if there's a PR on it, then we need a copy of the PR.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just wanted people to see what she sent us.
Right.
So you can see what we're talking about. And because they sent it to the thing, I have to acknowledge it, and it's part of our email. So I asked Lon, because he like was all over it before when the auction was going on. So the question is, at this point, she's telling me what they need to do. It seems like she just needs to know if we have to have say before they renovate the inside of the barn.
Well, they're building a house too.
But they're building a new house, which has nothing to do with us, because we don't do building of houses. So this is the barn that had, I think, the wagons in it maybe and stuff. The big,
It's had
everything. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, it is big when you see the pictures empty.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big barn, and this is one of the original barns, and it's got the green, this is color. So it's got the green doors, so the doors have to stay the green, the roof has to stay black, the things have to stay, the building itself, the outside has to stay white. So I'm not sure what they're planning to do. I don't even know if they have plans ready yet, but she was just asking for general, I think, information. So I asked her back to give us pictures, and I don't know where to go from there. But I asked Lon if he had info, and he said he's gone through the old property maps, and it goes back to 1775. But it says none of the maps show outbuildings, only the principal house. And the only thing that he has that shows outbuildings is on the Sons and Daughters 1949's homesteads map that we've already seen, and he put attached by Mary Chick and her husband. And this is lineage and all the stuff that he found. So I guess my question, just because I'm just curious myself, when they go in and subdivide pieces of an estate, how do you track that in the registry of deeds? You know what I mean?
Well,
I mean, it was one whole big property.
It's hard.
But if it was just a subdivision plan, just now, then if there's restrictions on it, then somebody they have had to and that's strange. So how can there be restrictions on a building in our town that were just put on it and we don't even know about it?
Why do you think it's strange? Think about it.
Well, that's being sarcastic.
Thank you.
That would have gone to the planning board.
Yeah, and I'm betting that, I know there was a whole lot of stuff went back and forth with that barn. And they could not tear the barn down. And they were gonna, one of the barn, I think this is the barn they were gonna move.
And then didn't.
And then didn't, and they reconfigured the lot,
Yeah.
I think.
This is sounding very familiar.
Yeah, so, but I don't know, when you go back to, if you go to look at Two Cottage Road is probably not even on anything yet, because the system on the assessor's office, Patriots thing, takes like a year. It's only updated like once a year, which is, to me, is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life. So.
Well, the planning office should certainly have a copy of whatever preservation restriction they put on it.
So
And hopefully it says on it who administers that preservation restriction. the selectmen,
So
the
I
planning
think she
board, or
used the word covenant
historical.
in the email, that for some reason.
Right, well, then
I
it would
don't
be,
have.
the easiest thing was for her to supply us with the restriction on the property,
Yeah.
or tell us where it is.
Yeah, so she was, her real question was, are they supposed to come to us if they're going to do, it seems like what it says, which is keep the outside colors, the doors and the roof the same way they're supposed to. We don't ever do any, they're not tearing it down,
Yeah.
and we're not, what are we gonna do with it?
Well, if it's a preservation restriction, one
Who owns
board
it?
will be
Welcome.
put in charge of
Which, who's got
in
it?
administering the preservation
Yeah.
restriction.
So then that's the question.
So first thing we need to know is what is the prescription,
Yeah, say
restriction
that, yeah.
or covenant, or what it is, and who wrote it, and who
Okay.
signed it.
So she's got it, then she must have it somewhere. Just gonna leave this other thing here before we lose it.
Do we also need a plan of the building plan of what they're planning to do?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
we need an architectural plan of what they're planning on doing.
Well, who has the preservation restriction? Who's got the covenant?
Well, if you want to start at the very beginning, go ahead, just ask that. But before anything goes before this board, I want a set of plans. I
My
want to know
question is,
who's,
why does it go before this board?
if there's a preservation restriction on it,
Yeah,
it may go before this board. It would be assumed that it would go before this board.
all right.
Just to make sure that they're
Because-
doing, what they're following.
Right,
Yeah.
but
We're
the
not gonna-
preservation restriction can be added from multiple different places, and it's administered. Usually, historic preservations are administered by the Historical Commission, but we know from Marsh Meadow Lane, that's not always the case.
Talking about the barn.
Which barn?
Two
Cottage.
cottage.
The one I asked you about.
Two-
Oh,
cottage.
okay. The barn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought I had more information on it than I did. I was surprised at how little I
I'm shocked.
had.
I'm shocked,
Oh, yeah.
because I just said you were all over that before the auction even started. You were-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I thought I'd have more evidence on when the barn was put up, and I didn't have much at all, except for that one mid-1700s, 1723, somebody left to his son half ownership of the barn. Now, we don't know if it's that
a
barn.
barn or a
Or
barn.
a barn.
Barns were
But-
generally erector sets that got moved around this town piece by piece and added on, scrapped
I was
and
gonna say, like, how would
extended.
you give half a barn to somebody, but if you're like
Oh,
taking
no.
it apart, that's how you
My
know.
barn's made out of 3 barns,
Yeah.
so, all different dates.
Yeah.
It's long.
Yeah, well,
So-
it just seems crazy to like give somebody half a barn.
And actually, it wasn't clear who had the
Yeah.
other half ownership.
Cut it in half.
So if she wants to advance things faster, then we need architect's plans,
Yeah, she's
Uh,
probably figuring out if
proposed
she can even
work,
do it, but yeah.
architect's plans.
She-
The woman that wants to remodel, or
This
the
is
family.
It's not the woman that owns the Barton house.
No,
No.
Somebody's bought that quarter
the
piece.
barn,
Okay,
So that muddies
They're gonna
things
build
right
it
the
up.
barn.
yeah,
Next to it, I
that was
guess.
always the plan.
Yeah,
I noticed they tore the doors off.
the barn. All right, so we need to see who holds it, holds the covenant, the preservation restriction.
A copy of it.
Wouldn't they get that when they bought the property? You'd think that they'd have all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
It would be on the title.
Yeah.
So it would be attached, depending on its type, it would be attached to the deed of sale. But if it's a site, multiple house plan, then it was just processed by the planning board. I don't know if they put it on every single deed in
Right.
there, or how it's tied together. Unlike 84 Elm Street, the house out front is part of the whole development. So it's attached different ways,
Gotcha.
but, so proposed work, architect's plans,
On the bond, we don't care about the house.
Yeah,
on the barn.
I mean, if they want to show us what they want to do for the house, that'd be nice.
Building new.
Yeah, wouldn't mind
Because
seeing it.
Rebecca will decorate.
Yeah, well, I don't know, that's, teach their own, I just wanted to know what it looks like.
Should walk her through the Kinney's barn.
I know, that place is gorgeous. They did a really good job. He's working on a.
So
barn
would not the planning board
in,
have
Boxwood, I
this
think, right now.
information? I guess.
I would assume,
I'm assuming.
if it's a
Right.
preservation restriction, if it's a covenant, or if it's like the house with the new fence put on it, that was some crazy thing added, not through our municipal
No,
town.
that was added by the owners.
So if it's owner administrated, then that's something completely different.
So we need to see a copy of the covenant, or whatever. She's calling it a covenant, so we need to see it. And then we need to see proposed plans on the barn before we can have a historical review, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Before anything comes before this board, I want all the information before we even start talking about it.
Yeah.
Just like a normal municipal board.
Okay, so I will tell her, I'm gonna check with Martha too, to see if she knows already, so I know who's getting really. I conveyed your information about the treasurer's report too.
Oh, yeah, nothing's changed. I just didn't, I was grounding to get ready for the meeting tonight that was supposed to be going on for another half hour. So I don't know if it's because we're so organized or if we're so disorganized.
Probably a little of both.
Yeah.
So is that it for correspondence?
Yeah, that was exhausting.
Okay, old business.
I gave you an updated one too, everybody,
I
and
saw
date at the top that says updated, so that nobody's like looking at scribbles. Huh?
Revised.
Yeah,
All right.
so that I put in the things from the meeting, so that things that shifted or changed to the whatever.
Okay, old business, we just talked, we did the windows. Lon's still working on the security. I'm still working on the shingles. The windows we covered.
Fill them out now, please.
So, old business, windmill. Jack Rybicki is asking for a letter from this board supporting the preservation and erection of the antique windmill. I have requested of him the same information. What's the name of his group? The chairman, the chairs of the group, so we can address them correctly, and proposed work. I said, generally we're in favor of this project, but we still need to see exactly what it entails before we can, so it can come before the board and be reviewed.
Did they specify a site
Yeah.
in the letter?
Yeah, well, didn't we?
No,
wasn't it
there's no letter, this was a phone call,
Oh,
so I have,
okay.
that's,
pitched to buy the schoolhouse, or is that weird?
Yeah.
We already talked about that,
Yeah.
Todd, that we are not in favor of that
Yeah.
at all, and
So like somebody's yard or something, right?
they're talking about in private yards. I told him that we did not vote, but we certainly had, I would think that the Historical Commission probably is not in favor of putting it anywhere on the Lower Green.
we already discussed
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah.
on the meeting minutes for
I
last.
know.
We're just
but we
reiterating.
didn't- We didn't vote on it.
Yeah.
Which is that part of Two Cottage Road now? That was understood?
Right, in theory.
Probably between them, I don't know.
Yeah.
I told the group I was gonna vote against it when they asked me
Really?
what they should do. He sent it to the historic commission, I'm voting against it.
Yeah.
We don't want, because you can't just put a windmill on the green. You gotta put a fence around it with barbed wire on the
Yeah, so
top
kids don't climb.
fall.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the
And that's gonna
grown-ups.
be ugly.
No grown-ups, exactly.
And what's the windmill got to do with the history of the green? None.
No, it would have been on the back of somebody's property. Yeah.
Well, they're gonna put it in the Barton property, that's makes sense. Apparently the owner is up for it.
Oh, so somebody wants to take, like, donate their spot and take care of it? Oh, then,
Well, that's
All
what, that's,
power to them.
well, that's where they were
The original
going.
location
yeah, all right.
would be-
100% support that.
I've even got a drawing for the thing, how they could build it, it's about 16 feet high.
And they have all the parts, like, to
Well, no, but we
resell?
can get the,
They actually reproduced them out in the central states. So he's confident that he can
Find
come up
missing
with all the
parts.
parts.
Some stuff
But
is missing.
I said, come to us with the full amount of information
Yeah.
to get going. So
He'll do that.
that's, yeah, so so that's where we're at with the windmill. It's basically, he asked, I said, bring us forth the information in a correct manner so we can look at it, and we'll go from there. And that's where we're at with that. Other old business, I thought I brought it up at the last meeting, but maybe it was in between. So I sent a letter to the town administrator about paying the clerk's position for a short amount of time each week in order to continue processing our high workload of paperwork. She was all for it, and she says she'll be putting it in the budget for this next upcoming year. How it will come in, I don't know. We'll see once correspondence comes forward with that. So that's that.
It's on, yeah, it's on
We're supposed to
page.
sign this stuff.
Yes, these are the open meeting law and the conflict of interest that you have to do every year. Well, you were supposed to sign it at the top, so sign it above where you wrote your name. Please. Yeah. I mean, it was on there somewhere. You told me.
What?
No, you told me. I don't think we did it.
Okay.
It was in between. Because we didn't have a meeting last month. You would have brought it up then.
And have you forwarded anything to Rebecca about inquiry going to the website?
Yeah, I get a list of twerky things here.
As far as what we want when people are,
Yep.
so that's going on there? Okay.
No.
Wait, what do you mean?
You're talking about the town website or the 1635 website?
I thought you were talking about
Because
16.
she's doing the 1635 website.
Okay.
She doesn't get any emails. There is no
Okay.
email address
So that-
as
all right.
far as
Oh, so what are you talking about?
contact information. You're talking
I'm
about
talking
the
about-
town
Okay,
historical commission page on the town website that you want me to put a caveat, and I want to get exactly what you have so I can figure out how to put the box on there.
okay.
I don't want to do it and then, because then it's up and then it looks stupid, like I fixed something the other day.
Okay.
I
So is
changed
that
the
just
high
for
road.
like inquiries for us when people go to the
Yeah.
town's website? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can
we
click
keep-
right on the connection and it goes, it opens up an email page for people to just send it. That's how it's so easy, but Channing and I talked about getting, like,
Like the inquiry about what can I do with my bathroom? What was over there on the Newburyport line last month.
Yep.
It's like, we cannot just have random emails about what can I do to my bathroom and what can't I do to it. We have to have plans, this has to be,
yeah, because we've gotten so many requests over the past, like, 5 years, do you know how old my house is?
Yeah,
Can you
sure.
tell me, can you find the well, and then we had the one Main Street thing.
one
Yep.
Main Street is what
Was
started
the
all
biggest
this.
nightmare
Yeah,
of.
it wasn't even the homeowner
Right.
asking questions that future questions.
I'm
They
still so
wanted
intrigued what's gonna
predictions.
happen over there, because you can tell they're starting, but
So,
like, nothing's really moved.
So, I will
You have your
type
son
that
watching
up
that a little
and
bit?
get
I mean,
that.
I
Is it good
wrote
perspective over
something
there?
down when you were talking to me one night, but then I'm like, I went to type it up and I went, well, this needs to be like right, it's
Yeah.
not like,
So
No.
is
Dying to know
it
if you can
the
save the
owners,
house.
the representatives?
Are they gonna bulldoze it? I don't,
Plans.
that's why I was waiting to see what was gonna happen.
That way?
I was gonna go with
Some good floors in there.
just
They
a
pull
bullet
floors
list
out and
of,
stuff. There's
Please
a lot of
Before we're
contain
gonna-
all of this
material.
information in your request, kind of thing,
Yeah.
and list it.
bullet list,
Part of
before
it.
we're gonna talk
Yeah.
to you, this is what we need to know. Who you are, who you represent, what property are you talking about, where is it at the registry of deeds? Is there any restrictions that you're aware of? Can we please, who's the architect and, we need a
Builders and stuff.
builder,
Yeah.
builder's plans? Do you have currently permits out, plans with the planning board? So we want all that before you send us an email about what you want to do with your house.
And, yeah, but it just has to be carefully worded, because if someone's calling to see, like, if we know if their great-grandmother's house is still across from the green, it's not like, we can't answer that unless you give us,
30,
yeah, you know
fill
what
out
I'm
a
saying?
form.
I'm a completely,
Well-
that we want to avoid, we're not your gopher,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to find out about,
Go to ancestry.com.
go to the deeds, go to do this stuff, well, then that's what the registry of deeds for, that's your
People
hard
don't
work,
realize,
especially
like,
the
they don't
real
even know it's
estate
theirs, the
stuff is
problem.
not us, that's
Yeah.
on you. You want to buy the house or sell it, you do the groundwork, we're not doing the groundwork. Someone calls and asks a question,
I'll do it for like
then we
$100 an hour.
need, it just depends, like, is this a general inquiry about history of,
Why don't you have a box as non-regulatory questions or something?
well, I mean, I can put that if you were inquiring about this.
My grandmother's
See the
house.
box to the left, and we need the following information.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a general inquiry about, can you help me with my genealogy? I get those things all the time, I tell them where to go. I have an email I already formulated once, I copy and paste it, that says, we're not a society, blah, 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 go to the sons and daughters. So I just want to make sure it's not like, we're not even speaking to you.
don't bother, yeah, don't bother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to word it so that it's,
Yeah, you can have a flow tree on there, so
Yeah.
they know where they're going.
So that's why I kept getting-
Put a link.
Non-regulatory
Stymied.
questions.
For G
You know,
word,
Yeah.
put the
so.
link. Put the link for everything you don't want to answer.
So we just need wording sensitivity and how everybody
Well, I'll
gets.
send my bullet list, you can put the sensitivity in. All right, before we get into the unfinished business list, do we have any new business or old business to cover?
Yeah, I did sign us up for the Sales and Trails,
Mhm.
but I haven't heard back from them.
Okay,
But I had them send it to my email, but also the commission's email.
good.
So between the two of us, we won't listen. But I haven't heard anything yet.
Nothing else has happened with Newberry Days, right?
Not that I've seen.
Yeah, I feel like that was like a,
It was in the newspaper 2 days ago.
Oh,
was it?
Or
Yeah, I don't read
something.
the
Once they want a cookbook.
But they're doing it cookbook.
That was a
Really?
cookbook, yeah, but it talked, yeah, right, that was mostly.
Because, see, that's gonna be a fundraiser,
Yeah.
because then you buy the cookbook.
I think, as far as I know, but they want people from here. See, now I'm not from here. So
Right.
like, in other words, they want recipes that were from Byfield and Old Town
Right, right.
Newbury and stuff
Yeah.
like, when you went out and were catching the fish in the river and your mother made fish stew or,
Well, there's
you know,
recipes
stuff.
for bear.
so,
Right, yeah.
I mean, unless you have a
I
generic.
bet you got some cool recipes.
But so it's still circulating because they're working
Eels.
in the background doing
Eels.
stuff.
Surprise.
I just didn't know if there was like, is there like a committee even for that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Good.
yeah, that was in the paper too.
I
And
don't
it was
like
on the
paper.
town website too. So,
I'll look at the town.
because I went to one meeting,
Did you?
yeah. Yeah.
I don't,
It
I
was
say
at-
he
'cause
can
it
press
was
the
at the,
paywall on Newburyport News, so.
At the Grange Hall,
As far as
whatever
I
it's
get.
called now, the Arts Center,
On the island.
no, Byfield.
Oh, the
Across from
The
little,
old yellow school.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
No,
not that place,
Grange?
the, next to
Grange
the,
Hall.
next to
Grange.
the Post office.
between the garage and the yellow
It
schoolhouse.
used to say like a coffee shop, and I like thought that there was coffee there once, and I was like, where's the coffee? I got
Yeah, no, they
confused.
used to have a coffee,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
but
was
that's
like,
what
oh,
it is. They got a little stage in there. Haven't
Yeah.
you been in there? No?
Yeah, just to like,
Oh, we
look,
had
not
that
for
one, that
We used to
might
vote in
be
there,
thing
so-
in there.
Really?
Yeah,
So,
I can see that.
that's where our whole
Polling those.
place was.
I pulled up on my computer, this is old business, 1 Marshmeadow Lane. You've got a copy of the Sam Jocelyn letter, and I came up with the date of when it was sent to the building inspector too, which was 2/26/20.
I know, because you asked me all these questions and I gave you all these answers.
All right, good,
Making sure.
making sure.
Because
Nothing
it is-
like redundancy.
The town's historical commission website, just so you guys all know, because Matt was actually surprised that I can get into our website and change things on the town website, because very few boards and committees are allowed to touch it. I said, well, you don't know me very well. And I was asking him about boxes, because I can't remember, I put the map on there, and I
Yep.
put something else on there, and I want to put the historic registry district on there, the map of the Upper Green, and, but I have to remember how to do the boxes, so he doesn't know either, because he just does things a different way, and so I'm just gonna go in and look and see. I have the instructions still, but that's where I want to put this little caveat thing also, and get things straightened out. But all of the emails that come through there, that have come through there since Chris died, and any that were there before he died,
Are there?
are there. I mean, unless they were just like, you know, do you want to buy Girl Scout cookies
Right.
or something, I got rid of those. But everything is in little folders, like Coleman Road, old,
Oh, that's good.
you know, so Marsh Meadow Lane, Plummer House, they all have folders, so I can find these emails instead of
Yeah.
5,000 emails since what, 20-something, 2014 or
right?
something, I don't know, when did Chris die? It's in the schoolhouse. But, so they're all there. So if we sent out anything, like this letter I'm gonna send to Coffin House lady, it'll be under,
Copy
it's
there.
probably under Spinea or, you know, Historic New England or something, so they're, or Coffin House, they're all there. So nothing will be lost. So if I decide to walk off into the sunset and pretend I don't know anybody anymore,
They're there.
it's all in there, and it's identifiable, most, 90% of it, as much as anybody else's email is, I guess, but
Okay.
it's, that's how I could find those, because
You
they're
find
all
we
under,
approved the roof last year too.
we may have, I didn't bother to look it up, but maybe they didn't, it wasn't last year, I don't think, anyway, because COVID. It was probably like 2 years ago.
I know, everything feels like a year, but it was
We
really
lost
2 years ago.
2019 completely.
We lost
I mean,
2020.
2020.
So everything that happened in 2019 seems like it was really last year, but it really wasn't, so.
I wish 2019 was
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have the same, probably the same letter, so.
Lon, have we had any movement on the Lower Green Historic District?
No, in fact, I was gonna ask that, if we've got approached it all. I asked Robin about it not too long ago, and they said they're waiting for the board of the selectmen to appoint the committee.
Have they requested that the selectmen appoint a committee?
I didn't ask that.
I wasn't at that
So I
meeting.
assume they
Would it
had.
be appropriate for us to help them to make that request?
Are we allowed to cross committee?
Well, it's not cross-committee, really.
So,
I mean,
no, what I'm thinking is just if we had a form letter or something saying, we, the residents surrounding the Lower Green, request the board appoint a committee.
Well, first of all.
And then give it to them, they sign it, just something
Right,
to
like
light a
prep
fire
it.
under them,
Yeah, just to prep it and make it.
Yeah,
I mean, if you think about it, the meeting you guys had was in Robin's house. It was not an official, really, any type of meeting.
No.
There was no video of it.
No.
There's no meeting minutes from it. So nobody else knows anything that went on there if you weren't in that room.
Right,
Because I was sick.
yeah,
That's when I had the COVID scare.
yeah.
So,
Well, our recommendation of the decision at the end of that meeting was is that we were going to write, not we, they were going to write a letter to each of the selectmen requesting that they set up this committee, work together and set up this committee. That was the end of the meeting.
End of the meeting?
That's all that was planned. Because the next step is on the town's part. It's not on the committee, sort of.
Because there can't be a committee unless the town appoints a committee.
Well, and this won't be the committee anyway.
No.
These
So-
are the people that'll say, we'll help
Persons of
you.
interest.
We're available to
Yeah.
help you be arms
The
and legs.
stakeholders.
But it's gotta have
Interest
all, the, architects, architecture, that's an AIA, whatever
Yeah,
is that right? AIA, American Institute of Architects or something. And then
Stamp it.
there's all these different people that's supposed to be on it.
yeah.
And I don't think that anybody, when they were talking about this up front in the beginning, had any idea how intense the formality of it is until I gave you copies of how to.
Right.
And then it's kind of like, what?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just,
I handed out that 10-step condensed thing
Yeah.
too. And that
It's a
shows
lot
at
of
least the
stuff.
process.
Yeah.
So the first step in the process is for the stakeholders to ask the selectmen to form a committee.
Right, or pick one of the selectmen to be well, we tried this and decided the politics would be too heavy, but have somebody be a sponsor.
Be a champion. Yeah.
And be a champion for it, and the conclusion was, if it was on this side of the table, this side would veto it, and if this side came forward, this side of the table would veto it. So, on the selectmen boards.
okay. So in your packet, there's a
So
thing
we
about
said,
it.
or the committee said, let's write a letter to everyone
Mhm.
and ask for their support. And then to put it on the agenda. So somebody would do it, would have to step up. I know they've talked to, what's her name? The chairman,
Alicia.
Alicia. I know they've talked to her.
Well, who was at the meeting?
That was Alicia.
Right,
Alicia
right,
and
I mean,
JR were
about
meeting.
where it was going,
No, but I mean, Alicia and JR were at the meeting, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so
yeah.
he followed up with Alicia to see what was happening?
Yes, and I didn't hear what was happening, so.
I don't remember seeing it on any agenda
Yeah.
either, so I don't know.
Well-
That's what I asked when I went to him. I said, I haven't seen any movement in this direction. Where does it stand? And he says it stands with the town now. So I didn't ask him whether or not they had formally, in writing, requested something as a citizens group.
Well, if they haven't, that's what they've got to
But they
do.
didn't write a letter to everybody. I did ask that. So what we decided to do, they decided not to do.
Okay,
So,
productive.
productive meeting. Well, it actually was a productive meeting, but not if you don't follow through.
Well, what if we drafted a letter to give to them? So
That'd be fine.
Are you a good writer?
You got
Apparently,
one?
he's already done it.
Bingo.
Dun, dun.
We'll just email it to Robin and to Steve. I've been trying to just sit in the background of this because at some point in time, I may have to be on the
Yeah.
commission.
There you go.
I don't know if you can do the commission.
Huh?
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what role we're gonna play, but
yeah,
I've been trying to kibitz from the side.
Well, in your packets, I gave you a thing from the Mass Historical Commission that says, friendly reminder about finalizing local historic districts adopted under Massachusetts chapter general laws. The process is not at the end with your town meeting or city council vote, and it gives all the steps of what needs to get done to get it actual,
Yeah.
legal type
Right.
status. So, people don't realize how much
It's an
work this
amazing amount of
thing
work,
is.
yeah.
So, I don't know how Newburyport did, like, what do they got, like 20 of them?
Well, the beauty is that all you have to do is, you've never done one. Once you've done one, then you just tack on to it. You just tack on to it.
Because they're all different.
Right?
even if they're not contiguous properties?
Yeah.
Really?
It could be scattered houses, anything.
Because
Yes.
they have, like
Definitely.
this
I remember
street
reading
or
that.
this group and all this, but it's just getting the thing off the ground is the
Yeah.
biggest,
Yeah, hurdle.
like anything else.
Yeah.
Like the inventory. I say that all the time.
That's a, if I remember right in the process, that's a major fork in the road. Does your town or city already have one?
No.
And the end is right there. and this is-
Has the secretary of the department been harping about it for the past,
Decade.
wow, it's almost 10 years. Yep.
I've still got a draft of the one we started, whatever it was, 2010.
Okay. So, do you want to send this to me?
Sure.
And I will forward it to Robin?
Okay. Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah, I mean, that looks,
Yep.
Because if we
Fine,
send it to
right?
Lon, it will
Is
just
it,
go,
is it
it'll go in
appropriate
the
for us
gray
to give
area
them this help, or?
in his email accounts, and we might never see it
Being
again.
helpful, that's all. We
Yeah.
don't need to-
I think it's
we don't
very
need to do
good.
anything.
It's just
Send
like,
it.
I'd be more
We like-
specific
we
on
want
it
to
in the end.
assist.
I'd say it's of investigate the possibility and of setting up a, the next step is they've got to set up a committee.
Committee, right.
So somebody is going to have to, at the table, volunteer to champion. So that, but I think you should state that, because I'm sure they don't know the process
But
either.
that's a committee to form this,
we have
not
to,
the
there's two
board.
committees. The committee to set up.
Yeah, we're not a committee.
The committee to go, that's going to be the local historic district commission
Yeah.
is different. They're not
Right.
necessarily
So it's
the
a committee to
same.
build it, and then a board to run it.
Well,
They're not associated.
there's 10 steps
Yeah,
Yeah.
in order to get to the end. The first step is to set up someone to run it, a committee.
Yeah.
And it's got all kinds of specific things, like it's got to have an architect, it has to have an engineer, and a geologist, there's
I mean,
crazy
yeah, it's
ones, you're
just
gonna say,
like-
what's this for? So you gotta have representation like that, and then they go through that process, right? And then you gotta set something up that will run that local historic district. And that's a basket, and that you can put a lot of different things into. In other words, other buildings, other areas. So
but you
it's
still have to
built-
go through the process for each section.
Yeah,
You can't just write them in.
Right,
Oh, we're
'cause if we
adding
could
in
just
this.
write it in, why don't we
no,
write it
right,
into the
yeah, but-
system?
Because
right.
it sounds like, I know that's not what you mean,
Yeah.
but the way it sounds is like, once we get the bowl ready, we can just keep putting more ingredients in. But you
well,
can't.
the path is shorter
See, if-
Yeah. It's
underneath
like-
that fork in the road.
It's like,
On
you know,
this
if you
one,
built one
it's-
house, it's easier to build a second house, so.
It's like
yeah.
trying to map a road from the Midwest to Washington State.
Yeah.
Back in the,
You gotta
Lewis
do
and
it
Clark days.
chunk by chunk.
Right.
And it's the
And the
same
other
thing
one
with
is you
that.
go down to the airplane and get on it and fly. Maybe not quite that. At least get on a train.
But it is, it's like anything else. The first
Okay.
one you do is always the hardest, and then
Yeah.
it gets a little easier hopefully after everyone after that, because at least you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
I suppose,
I'd be
right?
specific about setting up a committee.
All right, so where I've said that the board take the step of appointing a select committee to investigate the possibility of creating a local historic, how should I reword that?
Oh, I'm sorry, you've got it in there.
Okay.
I just don't read.
That's why he came late. He's still wrapped up in his other meeting, I
I
think.
am, it's
See?
crazy.
I know him so well now, I feel like I'm married.
uh-oh.
That's really frightening. Rich.
What's it, you have a meeting tonight? That's it, I have 2 at
Couple.
7. It's 2 at 7.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna start conniving with Jess to get you on track. Okay, so that's really nice. That's a very good
Yeah,
job.
that's
Thank you
great.
very
That's
much.
good.
So,
You're gonna send that to Robin and,
yeah,
And-
so
I'll
if you
send
want
it-
to
yeah, I'll
just,
send
I
you
mean,
the
I can
file.
just scan it, but I'd
I'll
rather just
send you
send
the
the file.
file.
Yeah, awesome.
actually, you've got the email list of everybody that was there. You could just take the 2 selectmen
I do?
off. Well, we were on it. I mean,
Oh, I'd have to go back and see.
okay.
I'll look.
But I'd take the 2 selectmen off.
If I can't find it, I'll just ask Robin, because I don't have a problem. It's very nice of him. So thank you, Rick, that's very nice.
Okay, do we have any other business before the board tonight?
I think so.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Anything else on that list?
I move that we adjourn.
Second?
Aye.
All right. All in favor?
What
Aye.
time?
Aye.